Pacific Drive drops you into its Olympic exclusion zone, where things like physics don't really work right anymore. The first objective or two will help you get acclimated, but you're left to figure out a lot of it on your own. Our Pacific Drive Beginner's Guide will help you get started exploring the exclusion zone with tips and tricks from our roughly 20 hours with the game, including advice about how to treat your car, deal with its quirks, getting it unstuck, and a great upgrade to unlock early. Your car in Pacific Drive is more than just a means of transportation. It's technically not even really a car. It's your family truckster, your mobile base, your protection from the zone, and your constant companion. It keeps you alive, or tries to anyway. If you've ever owned a car that you had to pat on the dashboard reassuringly after you hit a particularly nasty pothole, you know how your relationship with your car in Pacific Drive works. Sure, the car might come back to the auto shop with fewer wheels than it left with, but it'll always get you back. Treat it with some respect. Keep up on the repairs, outfit it with new and better gear when you can put on that new sticker you found. And most of all, be forgiving when it develops its quirks. As your car takes enough damage, it'll start to develop quirks. Things like a door popping open periodically, the radio turning on and off, or the horn honking seemingly at random. These quirks are part of a charming mechanic, and there's always a simple cause and effect to them. Right next to where you park in the auto shop, you'll find the Tinker Station. It's a computer with a crossed wrench and screwdriver displayed on the screen. Interacting with it lets you diagnose your car's quirks. It's not really a straightforward process, though. Pacific Drive doesn't explain diagnosing quirks, so it's a bit of a guessing game. On the computer, you'll enter information to fill in blanks in a sentence. That sentence is effectively, if the car part does action, then the different car part does quirky action. Using that structure, we've had quirks like, if the shifter does shifts to park, then the front left door does opens, and if the car does moves backwards, then the radio does changes channel. The problem is, the line between cause and effect isn't always clear, especially when you're dodging hazards and driving for your life out in the zone. When you get a quiet moment in a stable part of the zone, do some experimenting. Use the options listed in the columns on the Tinker Station to guide you. When you guessed the quirk correctly, you'll be able to fix and remove it. Usually this involves a mechanic's or electrician's kit. Sometimes replacing parts is better than repairing them. Outside of developing quirks, your car is just going to take damage while you're out driving around. If you happen to find chemicals while you were in the zone, you can make repair putty, 2 scrap metal, 2 plastic, 2 glass shards, 2 chemicals. That'll patch up almost anything. Over time though, some of your car's parts will become fragile. This just means they're old and worn. And sometimes you just don't have the resources on hand to make enough repair putty to fix the whole car. In both those cases, remember, you can always just make a new part and replace it instead of using up all of your precious repair putty. Exploring the zone is rarely as simple as just driving along a road from point A to point B. There's inevitably swerving, fleeing, and off-roading, no matter how careful you are. And that means that your car is going to get stuck eventually. You've got 2 options when that happens. You can kick it with the square button or by hitting F on your keyboard. That usually works, but it damages your car a little, see above. In more dire situations, you have another option. Hitting both the left and right thumbstick at the same time, L3 plus R3, or T-board, will attempt to summon your car to you with the arc warp ability. Outside of the car and little ways, but not too far away. If your car can find an open area to teleport to, it will. Just remember that it will be in the same state as it was when it got stuck. So if you teleport onto a hill while it's in drive, you'll be chasing your car down that hill. Triggering the teleport uses a huge amount of your battery though, so make sure you've got a battery jumper on hand. And to make battery jumpers, you'll need electronics. Aside from repairing your car for the next journey into the zone, the other thing you'll do in the auto shop is research new gear at the fabrication station. This is your tech tree for Pacific Drive. At the fabrication station, you'll spend resources and stable energy. More on this in a second. To unlock things like new workstations at the auto shop, better tools, and new and better parts for your car. There are 12 different trees across the top of the screen. When you're looking to unlock something, make sure you check them all. Don't focus on building up the auto shop when you could be unlocking puncture-proof tires. Unlocking new tech at the fabrication station requires a lot of stable energy though. And you get that from collecting anchors. Pacific Drive pairs meticulous management with intense excursions that will test your motoring mettle. Balancing its symphony of systems can sometimes be an overly punishing process, but the riveting tension of each run was enough to keep you on your toes, even through some repetitious pain points. And when your battered station wagon came screaming out of the portal to safety with no doors and a dead engine, you will always felt compelled to fix its faults, buckle back in,